Firstly, Sandeepa, I just want to say congratulations on Bisaat. I think it's very exciting to be seeing you play a psychiatrist in this series. And I think it's a type of role and character which we've not really seen you in before. So what got you geared up for the character?
Well, like you said, no one's really seen me play a psychiatrist before. I didn't know jack shit about psychiatrists before I started on, before I signed on to do this. I'd never met one. I didn't know what their world was like. So I think that was a bit of a challenge. It involved a lot of prep. I had to go through all these medical jargons and understand them and study them and understand how they operate. And what's also you need, like, there's a professional life and then there's a personal life. I need to understand both of them, because I'm not only playing a doctor, I'm also playing a wife in the house, and I'm playing a woman who's in the house. So I needed to understand both sides, of the world. So that was a bit of a challenge. It involved a lot of prep. I mean, I did about 2 months of prep before we went on to start shooting it. And of course, the constant back and forth with Vikram, because he's also written the series.
Yeah.
So he's someone who understood the world far better than I did. So he was kind enough to share all that information with me. And yeah, so it's always nice to play women who are strong and who are not bechari,
Right.
who have a lot more going on in their lives. They're not the kinds who are only either crying or or waiting for someone and stuff like that. So these are women, like I play a woman who knows what she wants in her life, and she doesn't shy away from going after her goals. She's a woman of today, and she knows how to how to handle her house. She knows how to be the best at her job. She's really good at her job.
Yes.
And in fact, she's too good at her job. Maybe that's also to a fault.
Right.
So it was interesting.
I'm glad you mentioned this actually, because it seems like the OTT platform has really opened up and provided you with more opportunities to play such characters as well. Be it in works like obviously Bisaat, and then Abhay or Mumbai. So why do you think such chances were lacking on the sort of mainstream cinema front, as opposed to perhaps the OTT?
I feel like people were far more scared to take risks because stakes were higher in films. I feel like the stakes are lower on OTT. You do pump in a lot of money, but you aren't answerable to a particular person.
Yeah.
So I feel like because the risks is lower on OTT, hence people are also exploring more genres, more content, different kinds of stories, and hence gives us the opportunity to pick and choose what we want to do in terms of the kind of characters that we want to play. It's also generated so much work for the technical side of the crew, the actors, everybody in the entertainment industry. Earlier there was only films or there was only TV. Now there's an entire new world out there which is churning out content like crazy.
Absolutely. And I'm really curious to know, actually, this is a bit of a hypothetical question, but I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it. Had you made your debut in today's day and age where the digital platforms are booming and doing really well, how do you think your journey or career would have been different or worked out differently?
I think it would have been very different, for sure. But then again, I wouldn't be the kind of person that I am right now. If I was, I was debuting now, I would probably be born in this generation. So I probably would be a very different kind of a person because I would be exposed to a very different world out there.
Yeah.
So I'm somewhere in the middle because I'm the 90s child. So I have seen the old world and the new one. So I think I have a better understanding of both. The ones who are just born in the 2000s, I think they are exposed to a very, very different world, which is more Instagram and which is more social media heavy.
Yeah.
So I think I would be a very different person, and hence I would be a very different actor. So I don't know what the journey would be like, but it definitely would have been a very different journey if I would have debuted now.
Very well said. Yes, absolutely. But you know what? I think I must tell you, I really love Isi Life Mein. I liked it since I first watched it back in 2010. And I think and I think I know the film didn't do as well in cinemas back then, but I think over time it's kind of become a bit of a popular film, and a lot of people sort of talk about it. And I really love the movie, so I just wanted to kind of firstly say that. So when you were obviously making your debut in A City Life from Here, what were your expectations and aspirations then as an actor, and have they sort of changed over time?
You know, I when I signed the film, so back then I didn't want to be an actor. It just fell in my lap, and I thought, let's just give it a try. I didn't know anything about acting. I didn't know anything. I was just someone who was preparing to do her MBA, and I had a very different life planned out for myself. So, if when you ask me about my expectations from the film, I had none because I just wanted to figure out. I just wanted to enjoy the journey of making this film and see where it takes me. I didn't plan anything. In fact, when I wasn't even sure whether I should do the film because you know I had like a plan in my head about what I want to do, and suddenly this was a different plan altogether, right? So it
Hmm.
was my parents, in fact, who had said that you should give it a try and see what it's like. Maybe you will enjoy it. Maybe there'll be a different career path. And then I was like, okay, so they were like, if this doesn't work out, you can always go back to doing whatever else that you wanted to do.
Hmm.
I was like, yeah, that makes sense because they were like, these are opportunities which are an experience, and
Right.
I took it as that. I took it as an experience, and midway through the film, I kind of realized that I actually enjoy all of this, and I want to
Hmm.
probably pursue being an actor.
Right.
And that's when then I decided that I want to go away, and study, and probably learn a bit of acting and stuff like that, and take those classes, and
Hmm.
hence I went to Australia and all of that happened. But I didn't have any expectations. I just wanted to enjoy the journey, and I had a great time filming that film.
Hmm.
I made some
Yeah.
amazing friends because we all were pretty much the same age group, and the director was also young, so we had a blast making that film. And Rajshri is an amazing production house to debut with, and there was
Yeah.
such amazing people. It was fun.
I mean, we got to see the young Neha Kakkar in that as well as an
Yes,
actress.
of course, yes.
Which a lot of people actually forget about. But yeah, that was quite a film. I really resonated, especially when I went to university as well afterwards. It was such a lovely film. I even love it even now. But I think you know what, Sandeepa, though, like I know you kind of mentioned that it all kind of just fell into your lap and it all just worked out for you. But you know when an actor isn't quite given the opportunities they rightfully deserve, or perhaps all they want, how does one cope with that and not let their sort of ambition or their sort of like interest in the field be impacted severely by it?
You know what? I feel like sometimes it's a blessing because everything that you're feeling can be used at some point as an actor. That'll become your raw material when you need to enact those scenes.
Yeah, yeah.
So sometimes when you feel like you've gone through heartbreak so much that you don't want to go through it again, I feel like it's a great blessing for an actor because you'll at some point need that as a raw material when you have to enact that a particular scene in that emotion. So I feel like everybody who's going through some kind of a struggle, it's in a way great because you will remember this when you have to do some scene somewhere and you have to probably do a crying scene or you have to do a scene in which you're frustrated. If you didn't have all of this, you didn't have the journey, then you'll have nothing. As an actor, all everything that we have is our experiences.
True.
We have nothing else. So the more experiences you gather, the more you go through. It's a very morbid way of looking at it in a way. But I feel like every bad thing that happens to you is a great opportunity as an actor
Right.
because you can use that as something to trigger some emotion somewhere when you're performing.
Yes, absolutely. Very true. I mean, I think I wanted to kind of follow up that with Bisat actually. I mean, because like you said, it's about how you use experiences as a raw material. So what raw materials did you reflect on for Bisat, if any?
Lots. There was lots. And I had to use a lot because the journey was such, the character's journey was such that it was emotionally extremely exhausting because, usually in a film you have like, as an actor, you usually have maybe 3 or 4 scenes, which are your performance scenes, they usually that. But in this series, in an 8 episode series, every episode has about 3 or 4 like that. And
Right.
so it was like, so they're very demanding, and I'm a kind of an actor who doesn't, I don't use glycerine and stuff like that. So I really need to put myself in that zone over and over and over again in order to perform. So,
Right.
so I obviously had to use a lot of emotional memory in order to perform those scenes. And at
Mm.
times it was very heartbreaking because you're reliving that thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But it works great for the scene because when you watch the scene and you know it's done with honesty, like you go back home and you feel satisfied that you felt what you needed to feel in that scene at that point. Sometimes, it's a huge blessing because sometimes, you can have a bad day and you might not feel what you needed to feel at that point. But luckily that didn't happen. And I
That's
felt what I had to feel. Also because I feel Vikram also creates that kind of an environment where he makes it very conducive for the actor. And it just lets you be. And sometimes when someone just lets you be, you get into that zone much easier. So of course, a lot of heartbreaks had to be brought in so that you feel the heartbreak as Kiana.
Oh, lovely. That's a very interesting process there. But I think I wanted to draw on a point that you kind of mentioned earlier on about, playing a strong woman and all of that. You've also been a part of several successful commercial pot boilers. I think like what Dabang 2 and Hero Panti. But I do kind of feel though, Sandeep, and I think you'll probably agree with me on this, that the some of these pot boilers are still very heavily centered on machismo and male centric sort of narrative, so to speak. I mean, how far away are we, do you think, from the day when we see female actors, maybe like yourself and others, take center stage and are given the pivotal roles in such cinema? Because often we see they're just supposed to be the girls who are just the love interest and not given the enough due credence.
Hmm. I agree with you. I feel though that's kind of changing. I think Vidya Balan with Dirty Picture changed the game for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And she did Kahani, that also changed the game a lot.
Hmm.
So now I don't think people shy away from women-centric films anymore. Earlier, that was always the case. You don't know whether it's going to work, where there's an audience for it. I don't think so anymore. I don't think that people are worried about that anymore. A good story
Hmm.
is a good story. It will work irrespective. Um, I feel like it's changing. It's slowly changing. I feel like everything happens in India very slowly. Um,
That's true.
but at least there is a change. At least on, I know, at least on digital platform, things have changed. I mean, that's triggered a faster change for sure. Because on digital, I know a lot of female-driven stories are working, and that's changed. So it's not like it's a hero-oriented thing. In fact, OTT has also brought to the forefront a lot of good actors. Earlier, it was a very hero-driven thing. Now it's actor-driven thing. Now you
Hmm.
could, as long as you're a good actor, you can make a mark. It doesn't matter whether you're hero material in the conventional sense.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, very well said. And I think obviously for you being a part of such successful films as well. I mean, what significance did that have on you at that time as well? Because Dabang 2 happened, because I think there was a big gap, right? After Isi Life Me and then Dabang 2, there was quite a big gap. So what was the reason for that gap, and how did you cope with it? And in what way do you think these sort of commercial pop boilers in a way have kind of provide you with a new lease and a new sort of fresh approach to work and working in the industry?
So what happened right after my first film released? I won a scholarship to study dance at the ADC, which is the Australian Dance Company, and hence I moved to Australia right after my first film. Which a lot of people thought was a foolish decision because I had suddenly done this, Rajshri film, and then, I was being nominated for everything. So there was a certain amount of buzz, and, I'd gotten this three-film deal with Viacom and all of that, and I left all of that, and I went to Australia because I wanted to study dance and I wanted to do something else, and I wanted to also explore myself as an actor, which I had like because I never planned to be an actor, I never studied acting, and I felt like for every profession, even as an actor, you need to study it. Um,
Hmm.
so I felt like that I needed to do. So hence I took a break. I went to Australia. Hence you see that break, that you see a gap between my first film and
Yeah.
Dabang. And also Dabang happened because I came to India for my summer vacation, and I had like a month off. So I did Dabang during that time. So every time I used to come back to India for a vacation, I would do one film. So in the first fun, I did Dabang, and the second vacation that I came in, I did Hero Panti.
Right, yeah.
So that's why there's like those gaps that you see. But I did like the reason I did them was because they were great. There were amazing people making it. I wanted to be part of Salman Khan Film Productions, and felt like it was a great opportunity to be part of a film which was fun. And then again, Hero happened because Sajid Nadadwala had liked my work in Dabang. So he had come to me, via that, and and Sajid Nadadwala again, great production. And Sabir was making the film. I'd known Sabir from before, and again, I just wanted to be part of this, and I'd really liked Hero Pantika. They did show me bits of it, and I
Right.
felt it was a fun thing to be part of. And I didn't think of it as like this path breaking thing or whatever. But I felt like my role in that was strong enough. Like I always do roles in which if you take that role out, does it make any difference to the story? If it doesn't, then I don't do it.
Mm.
So in both these stories, my characters were important turns in the story. So
Mm.
hence I did, and hence that you see the break that because again I shot for Hero Bandi and I went back to Australia because I was touring, I was doing a musical, so we were traveling around the world with it. So I was away from the Indian film scenario, and then I would every time I would come back to India, I would do this one odd thing
Right.
until 2.5 years back when I came back to India, and I was like, now I want to explore opportunities in India, and that's when I started working full on, and I did Abhay, and I did Mumbai, and I did a whole lot of other things.
Mm.
And so it's been an interesting journey.
Because, like you mentioned, you came back to India to explore opportunities, in India, and you've been getting some great work as well recently. I mean, speaking of Salman Khan, I mean, you were in Kargaz as well, I believe.
Yes, I did a song in Kagas. Yes, in fact,
Yes.
I was not in India back then. I was actually touring in Europe. I was performing in Europe, and I got this, out of the blue, I just get this call from Satish Kaushik, and he's like, you know what? I'm doing this film called Kagas, and I have this song in Kagas. Would you like to do it? And I was very wary of doing, these songs,
Item. Yeah.
songs in thing because I felt like they're pretty derogatory to women. They always show women in a poor light.
Yes.
So I was like, not too sure. I don't know, Satish. He said, you know what? Watch the film, and if you like the film and you want to be part of it, then you tell me.
Right.
And I'm also sending you the song. See, and he also said, I think he kind of understood why I don't want to do it. He's like, you know what? I don't want to shoot this like a typical item song, and I don't want to show women in any poor light. In fact, the way I've made sure the song is written in a way that it doesn't talk about the woman, it talks about the man, and all of that. So he gave me this entire backdrop of why it's not like your typical song in a film. I said, cool. And he sent me Kakas, and I watched Kakas, and I was like, this is such an amazing story. And then, of course, because he had said that, it's not going to be a typical item song and all of that, I was like, okay. But I was like, listen, I'm touring. I don't know how we're going to do this. And I was like, when do you want to shoot this? And he wanted to shoot it like, I think 3 days later or something like that. I was like, this is crazy, but this is a great opportunity. I was like, shit, now how do I make this happen? So it took a few days off from the musical. I flew down to India. I rehearsed on the day that I got here, and then the next day we shot that. So
Wow.
it was crazy.
That sounds definitely crazy, but like, yeah, it's just interesting. Like I was saying, how you said that whole Salman Khan connection, and it kind of worked out for you. But I think generally, though, just looking at this position in life where you are right now, would you say this is the phase you've always wanted? Is getting the opportunities and exploring yourself creatively as an actor.
I think so. I think the reason I wanted to be an actor was because I wanted to play different kinds of characters. It was not necessarily to do a certain number of films. It was more about playing different characters, and I'm actually getting the opportunity to do that on at least on digital space.
Right.
And I've been lucky enough to get the opportunity to play different kinds of roles. Because like in Abhi, I played a cop. In Mumbai, I played a middle class Maharashtrian CA. In Bisaat, I play a psychiatrist. In this next series that I'm doing, I play a UP-based dancer, and another one I play something else. So I'm getting the opportunity to do this, and this is what I wanted to do. And I think that's a great space to be in, like right now, like this phase that we are in, wherein the OTT is booming and there are a lot of new content that's being generated. I think it's great for everyone out there, whether you're a technical crew, whether you're an actor, everyone.
Absolutely. And I think on that note as well, on a final note, I think besides Bisaat as well, I think you've got a very interesting project with Netflix as well coming up. So I mean, I know you probably have an NDA and all of that. So just cutting all that out, what can you tell us about that, and how creatively satisfying was that experience for you working on that project?
The one with Netflix is very special for me, because it's being directed by someone that I really look up to. And I got the opportunity to be part of an amazing story, and I'm so glad I got that, the opportunity. And it's produced by Clean Slate Films, which is Anushka Sharma's
Wow.
And yeah, and Netflix just announced it. I think they announced the lineup. In their lineup, it's there. It's called Mai, and
Wow.
and I'm really looking forward to it, because again, I'm playing a character which is so different from everything that I've done. And again, it's a performance that is very dear to me, because I have felt that every moment and every second of that series.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
that's the one with Sakshi Tanwar, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I am really excited. Oh, this is awesome. This was the one that I was looking forward to actually when I saw that little announcement trailer that they made. So I'm very excited for that, Sandeepa. Oh my God. This is awesome. We'll definitely have to do an interview near then as well, I think, about that. But I think on that note, Sandeepa, I just wanted to say a huge congratulations again for Bisaat. And I think it's wonderful to see you being able to explore these characters like I've mentioned. It's great that digital platforms like MX Player are providing you that opportunity to explore these different roles. And I can't wait to see it on our streaming platforms once it's out.
Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to everyone watching it. I hope you watch it, and then you give me your feedback. I feel like that's always fun when people watch it and give me feedback.
Absolutely. But keep working hard and keep doing well and progressing. And I think sky is the limit for you, Sandeepa.
Thank you so much, Anuj, and it was great speaking with you. And stay safe wherever you are.
Yes,
Which part of the world are you in?
I'm from London, so thankfully our lockdown is lifting very soon. But then, pata nahi kab tak ye chalega. Like lockdown has expiry dates nowadays that we don't even know about. So we just gotta keep.
Stay safe, sanitize, and wear your mask.
Absolutely.
And get a shot.
Yeah, exactly. Vaccine, Lilo, definitely, absolutely. But listen, you also take care and stay safe. And thank you once again for joining me on Filme Shilmy.
Pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.